Hello guys, my name is Arun Wagle. I'm a Watson data and AI engineer with IBM. I'm going to demo our LIBOR solution, which includes IBM Watson Discovery and ContractPodAi. For the purpose of today's demo, let's look at some loan agreements related to LIBOR. So let's jump into the demo. So what you see on my screen right now is a Watson Discovery interface. I already have a project created with all my LIBOR contracts uploaded to it. Two callouts here. One, Watson Discovery is OCR enabled by default, which means that you can look at document types like PDFs, Word docs, images, scanned documents, and so on. Secondly, you can integrate with various data sources where your contract resides, including SharePoint, FileNet, Box, and so on. So the first thing that I do is I click on the project, and which takes me to the search screen. Let's search for some of the contracts. In this case, I'm searching for all contracts with interest accrued on outstanding at a variable rate of 250 basis points above LIBOR rate. Now, one thing you note here is I'm using a natural language query, which means Watson Discovery understands human language without any special syntax. I click on search, and now I get a list of search results. What you see on the right is that Watson Discovery has pulled a list of passages from all the contracts where it found the search phrase. On the left side, you see a list of facets which lets you filter your data further. So let's say I want to filter my contracts based on contract type. Say I want to filter by master loan and security agreement. I click on that, and now my results are filtered out. So now let's look at the contract in detail. I click on the contract, and this gives me the contract view. The document tab here actually highlights the search phrase where it found in the contract. If I want to look at some more provisions, which I usually want to, I will click on the contract data tab, and that takes me to the provisions view of the contract. Now, if you look here on the left side, you see there are a lot of provisions which it was able to detect and showcase here. Let's say, for an example's sake, I want to look at intellectual property provisions. I click on that. It clearly tells me how many instances of intellectual property language it found in the contract, and now I can go and review those and take necessary actions on them. There are some additional things also that you can do here. Say, for example, you want to find out the nature of the contract, right? So what I can do is, let's say I want to look at the exclusion clauses. I click on that, and now I can review the exclusion clauses in the contract. One key thing to note here is that Watson Discovery has pulled all the provisions from the contract by applying contract intelligence to it. Very briefly, there's a third tab which is a JSON tab, which actually gives you access to the contract data in a readable JSON format. So once the contract is searchable by applying a cognitive AI solution to it, the next step is to process and repaper the contracts. My colleague here, Raj, will demo that. So Raj, over to you.
Thanks, Arun. Hi, my name is Raj Thomas, and I'm the Senior Manager of Partnerships here at ContractPodAi. Over the next few minutes, I'll be walking you through the ContractPodAi system, as well as follow up on one of the LIBOR affected contracts Arun took us through just a few minutes ago. I will also touch on a few of the capabilities and features of ContractPodAi that sets it apart. Thank you so much, and let's get started. This is the first screen you would see after logging in. Let's press My Dashboard, and here is the typical view one would expect. It offers a complete status of your contracts and their types. From the dashboard, you can, for example, use it to take direct action on priority contracts. Pressing here, you can easily see contracts that require the most attention. This will allow you to prioritize your workload and processes. Going back to our main dashboard, we find a variety of other notifications like approvals and signatures. From here, you can also access a variety of other class-leading features like risk analytics and geographical-based contracting. On the left side is our navigation panel, and at the top is our new contract button. This allows you to obviously start a new contract, but also review, revise, terminate current contracts. So let's go find Arun's contract that he ran through IBM Watson. We'll press contracts here on the left. His is number 387. And now that we are into our contracting page, we can see a variety of important information at our fingertips. We also have the option to look at the history of the contract. So what we'll do is we'll scroll down and we can see two versions of the contract, version 1 and version 2. It was obviously put through IBM Watson and it created the new contract with the new standards. So we'll press the PDF, scroll down to paragraph 5, and we can see the LIBOR text. We will exit out, go to version 2, scroll down again to paragraph 5, and see the SOFR text. ContractPod allows you to easily compare different versions of a contract. We'll press the compare button seen right here. Make sure we have version 1 and version 2, and we'll press compare. Now we are in the ContractPodAi editing tool. On the left, we can see the changes that have been made. In this case, all that was done was the amendment. We'll press it. It will take us right to that paragraph 5, where we can see the red-lined LIBOR rates and the blue new SOFR rates. We will exit out and go back to our contracting screen. Now that we're back at our contracting screen, there are a variety of options for your LIBOR contracts. If you have an entirely new contract, you would just upload it here, and that would make it the most recent and latest contract version. The comparison we just went through would allow you to review and see the amended contracts. So let's try another example. We'll go back over here to contracts. We'll press on number 386, and we'll scroll down. The system allows you to assess risk across all contracts, including LIBOR ones. Scrolling to our scorecard, we find this contract to be high risk. The detailed view gives us an insight into the contract areas and their associated risk. Next, let's look at our key AI-driven obligations. In some of the non-compliant text, we find whole sections that do not fit the preferred language. One thing that sets ContractPodAi apart is the ability to identify non-compliant text out of a larger section of compliant text, which allows you to focus your efforts. For example, seen right here with intellectual property. So let's try to make some of this text compliant. Let's focus here on assignments. What we will do is review contract terms. We'll go to assignments, scroll down. In this case, we have our compliance text and two fallback clauses. The compliance text is what is used for our scorecarding number. We'll press compliance. There's also an option to collaborate with up to 6 people, and we'll review and accept changes. Now, if we were to look for this somewhere in the document, this could take quite a long time. So what we will do is we'll press Show Suggestions, seen right here. The changes we've made, we also have the option to add comments, and we can see that the new text was put in right here. We will press, and it takes us directly to the text that we have changed. We will accept, and now this document uses compliant text. And now we'll save. So from here, what we will do is we'll just exit out. We'll go back to our contract number 386. And remember, our score earlier was 23 and we adjusted assignments. So we'll scroll down to our scorecard and see that we've moved up to 26 and that the assignments clause is acceptable and low risk. Thank you so much for allowing us to demonstrate ContractPodAi to you. I hope you enjoy your evening and talk to you again soon. Thank you.